Clark has a new State Farm commercial, and we have major news coming out of the WNBA about this 2026.
The WNBA just tried to pull off the biggest scam in sports history, and the players are calling them out on it. You probably saw the headlines everywhere. WNBA offers players a groundbreaking $1.1 million max salary. It sounded incredible, like a monumental leap forward for women's sports. But here's the reality check. That number is a complete and total lie. It's a marketing stunt designed to make you think the league is being generous, while they're actually trying to lowball the very players who are making them relevant. The players' union literally called the offer lipstick on a pig. And when you see the actual math, you'll understand why this negotiation is about to turn into an all-out war. And the perfect symbol for this entire disaster. Caitlin Clark, a woman making millions for brands like State Farm, but less than 6 figures from the league, she is single-handedly carrying on her back.
Help with this question?
Allow me to assist.
Dad, are you retiring? Oh, what's your name, little guy?
Tell me.
Let's start with what just broke the internet. State Farm dropped a brand new commercial featuring NBA legend and future Hall of Famer Chris Paul. Now, CP3 has been a face of State Farm for nearly 17 years since 2008. He's an institution. The entire ad is built around the premise of him retiring. His own kid is asking him. Jake from State Farm is fielding questions. The whole world wants to know if the 40-year-old veteran is finally hanging it up. And then for about 10 seconds, Caitlin Clark walks on screen, looks him dead in the eye, and completely steals the show. She playfully interrogates him. Is it true? Are you retired? You can tell me. And in that moment, the entire purpose of the commercial shifted. It wasn't about Chris Paul anymore. It was the official passing of the torch, with a WNBA rookie instantly commanding more attention than a 21-year NBA veteran.
Jake.
So everyone says you're going to retire. Is it true? You can tell me.
Is this metal?
Are you going to retire?
The internet's reaction tells you everything you need to know. The comments weren't about Chris Paul, they were about Caitlin. One person on X wrote in all caps, "Nobody understands how much I love CAITLINCLARK State Farm content." Another one posted, "New State Farm commercial with Caitlin Clark cameo. By the way, nobody cares if Chris Paul retires. Many thought he did already." That's brutal, but it's the truth. Caitlin's 10-second appearance generated more buzz than the entire rest of the ad. And this isn't a fluke. State Farm knew exactly what they were doing. They made history by signing her back in October 2023, making her the first college athlete ever to join their roster alongside titans like Patrick Mahomes. They built an entire campaign, from the logo, around her signature move. They see her value. They understand she's not just a basketball player. She's a cultural phenomenon worth millions in marketing.
I need a break.
Time for a Big Ten game break. I'm Jenny Taft here with Hawkeye.
But here's where it gets absolutely insane. While State Farm is treating Caitlin Clark like an A-list superstar, the WNBA is trying to sell a fantasy. They floated this $1.1 million salary number knowing D*MN, well, it was pure fiction. According to sources deep inside the negotiations, no player could actually sign a contract with a base salary of $1.1 million. The real offer for a Supermax contract is between $800,000 and $850,000. So how do they get to that magic $1 million number? Let me break down this scam for you. First, you need that $850,000 base salary. Then, you have to win the WNBA championship for a $20,000 bonus. Then you have to win MVP for another $15,000. And be on the All-WNBA first team for another $10,000. And be an All-Star, and win All-Star MVP. And on top of all that, the league has to hit certain revenue-sharing targets that have been hit exactly 0 times since the current deal was signed. It's an impossible checklist, a shell game designed to look good in a press release.
Caitlin Clark from the logo.
You know, life would be easier if I could do everything from the logo.
Allow me.
This brings us to the core of the problem, the number that exposes the entire system, 9%. While NBA players get roughly 50% of all basketball-related income, WNBA players reportedly get only 9%. 9. Let that sink in. The league is experiencing record-breaking viewership, attendance, and expansion fees in the hundreds of millions, almost entirely driven by the Caitlin Clark effect, and the players are seeing a fraction of that wealth. Caitlin Clark herself, the woman with a $28 million Nike deal in the face of Gatorade and State Farm, will make a base salary of less than $86,000 next season. It is fundamentally broken. Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier has been screaming about this, pointing out that players like Caitlin are generating massive value they will never see a dime of under the current structure. The league is getting rich off their labor, and they are done with it.
Has broken the internet. I'm kind of missed reporting on it yesterday, so we're going to do a little catch-up time here, man. So instead of the WNBA offered a $1.1 million max, Supermax is not what it seems, sources tell Front Office Sports. So from my understanding, I told them to immediately sign this. Now, that's before I read this article. Now, I read a little bit of it. I ain't going to lie to you guys. We're going to go over the majority of it right here in this video. But supposedly, there is like clause in this CBA negotiation. Basically, they have to meet certain criteria to make this one.
And this is exactly why the haters get so much oxygen. People love to point out Caitlin's endorsements and act like she's getting special treatment. But here's what they refuse to understand. Caitlin didn't create this broken system. She's just the one who's exposing it. Her teammate Lexi Hull said the quiet part out loud, admitting there's a huge level of jealousy around the league because of the attention Caitlin brings. We've seen it all year. From Cheryl Swoops trying to discredit her records with false information to Diana Taurasi's condescending warnings. The old guard seems more interested in tearing her down than celebrating the unprecedented growth she's bringing to their own sport. They're mad at her for getting endorsement money, but the real enemy is a league structure that forces players to rely on outside deals because their salaries are insultingly low. But wait, it gets worse for the WNBA. The players have a nuclear option. While the league plays games with fake numbers, new leagues are popping up ready to pay players what they're actually worth. We already saw Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league founded by Breena Stewart and Nafisa Collier, give players another way to earn money. But now there's Project B, a proposed international circuit set to launch in 2026 with reported 7-figure salaries. And who are the first public signees? WNBPA President Nneka Ogwumike, Alyssa Thomas, and Jonquil Jones. The players are literally building their own lifeboat. They are sending a clear message to the WNBA, pay us what we're worth or we will go somewhere that will. The clock is ticking, and if a deal isn't done, the entire 2026 season could be dead in the water. So there you have it. The WNBA is floating misleading salary numbers to win a PR battle, while their biggest star is proving her multi-million-dollar value in commercials with NBA legends. The players are rightfully calling the league's offer lipstick on a pig, and are threatening to abandon ship for new leagues that promise legitimate 7-figure paydays. This isn't just a contract negotiation anymore. It's a battle for the soul and future of professional women's basketball. The league has a choice. Either share the wealth that players like Caitlin Clark are generating or watch the whole thing burn. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the WNBA will make a fair offer, or are the players going to be forced to walk? If this breakdown helped you see what's really going on behind the headlines, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell because this story is far from over. But let's peel back another layer of this onion, because the WNBA's public relations machine is working overtime, and it's being spearheaded by none other than Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. In every interview, Engelbert paints a picture of a league in its investment phase. She talks about the massive costs of expansion, the recent implementation of charter flights, a battle players fought for years, by the way, and the need for patience as the league grows. She uses corporate buzzwords like economic transformation and long-term sustainable growth model. But what she's really saying is, we, the owners, are reaping the rewards of this unprecedented boom now, and you, the players, can get your share later. It's a classic corporate delay tactic. She's trying to sell the players on a future that may or may not materialize, while the owners cash checks from new expansion fees reportedly in the realm of $50 to $100 million. The players are being asked to subsidize the league's growth with their own bodies and careers, and they are recognizing it for the raw deal that it is. This isn't an investment phase for the players. For them, every single season is their prime earning window, and the league is asking them to sacrifice it for the vague promise of a brighter tomorrow. Let's quantify the Caitlin Clark effect, because the numbers are genuinely staggering and they expose the league's lowball offer as even more insulting. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, has already surpassed its entire asterisk home attendance from the 2023 season in just their first 11 home games of 2024. Let me repeat that. In less than a third of the season, they drew more fans than all of last year combined. Across the league, arenas are selling out. The Las Vegas Aces had to move their game against the Fever from their 12,000-seat arena to the 18,000-seat T-Mobile Arena, and it sold out instantly. On television, the story is even more dramatic. The WNBA's broadcasts on major networks like ABC, ESPN, and CBS are averaging 1.32 million viewers, nearly triple last year's average of 462,000. Clark's debut game drew 2.1 million viewers, the most for a WNBA game on ESPN in 22 years. Merchandise sales are up an astronomical 756% compared to last year. This isn't a gentle updraft. It's a Category 5 hurricane of revenue, and the league is trying to hold up a tiny 9% umbrella and tell the players it's the best they can do. To truly grasp the players' leverage, you need to understand the document at the heart of this war, the 2020 Collective Bargaining Agreement, or CBA. At the time it was signed, it was hailed as groundbreaking. It boosted the max salary to over $200,000 for the first time and introduced better benefits like paid maternity leave and improved travel conditions. But buried within that deal was the key to this entire situation, an opt-out clause. The Players' Union has the right to terminate the current CBA after the 2025 season, provided they give the league notice by November 1, 2024. This isn't a negotiation out of the blue. It's a strategically timed move that the WNBPA has been planning for years. They saw the potential for growth, and they built in an escape hatch. Now, with the league's value skyrocketing thanks to the new rookie class, that escape hatch has become a thermonuclear weapon. They are not just asking for a raise. They are threatening to blow up the entire existing financial structure of the league if they don't get a partnership that reflects their true value. And make no mistake, this fight isn't just being waged for Caitlin Clark. It's for superstars like A'ja Wilson, the Las Vegas Aces' two-time MVP and reigning Finals MVP. Wilson is arguably the best, most dominant player in the world. She just signed her own signature shoe deal with Nike, the OWN, a massive achievement that puts her in an elite class of athletes. Nike, like State Farm, recognizes her immense marketability and cultural capital. Yet her WNBA salary is capped by the same broken system. A'ja has been one of the most vocal critics of the league's pay structure, famously tweeting, SMH, shaking my head when the details of NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson's $230 million fully guaranteed contract came out. She understands the discrepancy better than anyone. She's the face of the reigning dynasty, a champion, an MVP, a global brand, and she's still forced to play in a league where the owners pocket 91 cents of every dollar she helps generate. Her fight, and the fight of every other veteran, is to create a league where the next A'ja Wilson or the next Caitlin Clark can be compensated for their on-court genius, not just their off-court endorsement hustle. The recent chaos surrounding the implementation of charter flights is a perfect microcosm of the league's entire approach. For years, players had been begging for charter flights, not as a luxury, but as a necessity for player safety, health, and performance. Stories were rampant of 65 players crammed into middle seats on commercial flights, dealing with airport delays, and facing security concerns from overzealous fans. The league consistently claimed it was financially unfeasible. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, and the intense media scrutiny on her travel conditions forced the league's hand. They announced a $50 million, $2 plan to fund a full-time charter program. It was a massive PR win, but the execution was a mess. Teams were left scrambling, with some, like the Indiana Fever, getting priority while others were left waiting. It sent a clear message. The league will only do the right thing when public shame becomes too great to bear. It wasn't a proactive investment in their players. It was a reactive move to a PR crisis, and the players know that the same principle now applies to their salaries. The only way to get the league to pay up is to create a crisis they can't ignore. This entire conflict is also rooted in the long and grueling history of WNBA players being forced to supplement their income overseas. For decades, the league's top stars have spent their off-season playing for clubs in Russia, China, Turkey, and across Europe, where they could earn salaries ranging from 5 to as much as 15 times their WNBA pay. Brina Stewart famously made over $1.5 million for a single season playing for the Russian team UMMC Ekaterinburg. This grueling year-round schedule has led to countless injuries and immense physical and mental burnout. The infamous case of Brittany Griner, who was wrongfully detained in Russia, highlighted the incredible risks these athletes were taking just to earn a living commensurate with their talent. The players' push for higher domestic salaries isn't about greed. It's about being able to finally have a true off-season. It's about being able to rest, recover, and focus on the WNBA without having to fly halfway around the world to a potentially unstable political climate just to pay their bills. New leagues like Project B and Unrivaled represent a chance to finally break that exhausting and dangerous cycle. Let's look closer at the threat posed by Project B, because it's not just another league. It's a fundamental reimagining of a professional women's basketball career. The proposed model is genius in its simplicity and its direct assault on the WNBA's weaknesses. It's reportedly an international circuit that would run from January to May, perfectly occupying the traditional overseas window and ending just as the WNBA season would begin. This means, in theory, players could do both. However, the rumored salaries, starting in the low seven figures, would make the WNBA component of their year almost financially irrelevant. Why would a star player risk injury and exhaustion playing a 40-game WNBA season for $250,000 when she just spent 4 months earning $1.2 million playing a lighter, more focused schedule? Project B is aiming to become the primary league, the main event, and relegate the WNBA to the status of a secondary summer side gig. By poaching top-tier talent like Nneka Ogwumike, they are not just creating competition, they are attempting a hostile takeover of the entire talent pipeline. Ultimately, this all comes down to one massive, flashing dollar sign on the horizon: the new media rights deal. The WNBA's current deal with ESPN-ABC, worth a paltry $60 million a year, is set to expire in 2025. With the league's ratings currently exploding, industry experts project the next deal could be worth anywhere from $180 million to $250 million per year, a 3- to 4-fold increase. This is the financial windfall that the entire battle is being fought over. The Players' Union is keenly aware that securing a new CBA asterisk before that media deal is signed is absolutely critical. They want to lock in a new, much higher revenue-sharing percentage, something closer to the NBA's 50%, so that when that massive influx of cash arrives, it is automatically distributed fairly. If they wait, the owners will sign the deal under the old 9% structure, pocket the vast majority of the new money, and the players will have lost their single greatest point of leverage for a generation. This isn't just a negotiation, it's a race against time for a fair share of a billion-dollar pie.